Okay. The audio, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Floor is yours, Madam.
everybody. I'd like to call to order the Oakland Borough Council regular meeting of September 16th, 2025. We're going to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. And to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, is that Bianca or you?
Want me to do it, Bianca?
No, it doesn't matter.
I'll do it, I'm here.
Okay.
Councilmember Isaiah Wilson. Here. Councilmember Jennifer Paris. Here. Councilmember Deborah Orme.
Here.
Councilmember Jamie Leonardi, excused. Councilmember John Arnold. Here. Vice President Council Amanda Pignata.
Here.
Council President Nancy Rye.
Here.
And the mayor is excused this evening.
Thank you. First thing this evening is registered speakers, and we're going to begin with Sue Martin. She's here to speak about the field lighting at Riverside Park. And anything else you hear to speak.
All night. Well, thank you very much for having me here and letting me speak about a subject that we may agree on and we may not agree on, but I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much. I'm a former member of the Riverview School Board. I spent over 15 years serving in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's been a good while, but I learned a lot, and I'm hoping maybe I can share a little bit that you can consider before you vote for the lights on the football field. I should confess that I'm also a converted Oakwater. We moved here and bought our house over 50 years ago, and it was a starter house, and we kept it for 52 years, so we definitely fell in love with Oakwater. I've always been very proud of the district since its beginning in 1971. Both of our children graduated from here, and they've done very well. I'm here concerning the lights on the football field. You can read that. I'd like to share some thoughts that I hope you'll consider before voting. Nothing is ever free. Over the years, lights have been discussed by the school board. In our studies, we learned fights happen at night. Riverview School District never had a fight. Never wanted one. We'd rather be safe. And no lights meant no extra cost to the taxpayers. And now, Riverview School District is far, far in debt. I understand that the United States Golf Association has given $100,000 to the district very generously. Representative McAndrews, Senator Costa have promised $275,000 for a total of $375,000. But we'll need much more. Nothing is free. Riverview School District is already in debt to the tune of $53,822,599. Almost $54 million in debt. On a per student basis, football is already the most expensive sport. Even after the lights might be installed, who will maintain them? Oakmont has only 2 employees in the Parks Department. Another example in the past that we got for free was back in 1989 when Oakmont had its centennial. And the gas company generously gave us gas fixtures for the entire boulevard. We had beautifully charming gas lights. It became far too expensive to pay for, and we ended up having to switch to electric. So nothing's ever free. What possible expense would this mean? Many of us have teens who have asked for something more. They can't always have it. Higher maintenance would be needed for more foot traffic after deck hockey, football, and possibly basketball games under the light. It should actually be a mark of unusual discretion that our district would be willing to stand as the only school district without lights on its field. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. We're going to also, consider Judge Flanagan registered speaker this evening. He is on the agenda later, but, to give us our monthly report.
Thank you. I'm Joe Flanagan, if you don't know, from the Oakmont Fire Department. This last month, your fire department answered 46 total calls for service. 25 of them were out of town, 21 in the borough of Oak. The calls ranging from commercial fire alarms at 16 to residential fires between almost 9. Mulch and brush fires are 4, boat and water rescue boat fires. CO smell or calls for carbon monoxide, gasoline odors, and things like that. We're still having problems with a couple skunks running around town. To vehicle wrecks, just cleaning up their the oil and debris on the road. We're going to recommend that from here on till we get some rain, that everybody limit their outdoor burning. You're allowed to have little fire pits and things like that. We're going to ask that you limit it while it's still dry outside. And if you go on the Allegheny County website, it'll tell you when the burn days are and things like that. But we just want to try to limit those recreations right now until things get a little more wet. But you guys have any questions for me or? Yeah, John.
On the alarms, are you experience any particular source of like false alarms?
We've had a couple, but I think since the ones that we had problems with, we had reached out to them and told them that they're I don't want to say they're free calls, but they're they're becoming a nuisance to us, and that from there on out they'll be penalized for it. And I think those things have calmed down. These were from last month, so they're not from this last few weeks since we've been more aggressive with that. Anybody else?
We received notice from the state that 4 fire relief plans will be coming, if not this week, next week.
Okay.
And we deposit
That's perfect.
to check the fire company.
Okay.
You still have the same treasure for the relief?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Craig.
Yeah, Craig Avery?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe retired this year.
I'll let Craig know.
We'll have a couple of new applicants for probably the next month meeting or the following meeting to get those through. We have 4 or 5 new guys.
Okay.
Everybody else okay? Thank you guys again. We appreciate your support and always helping us. Thank you. I'll see you guys.
We,
Parsons.
yes. I believe we have Barbara Miller here this evening. Who is the new director of RCOC. And she's here to say, look, if you could give your name and your home address.
My name is Barbara Miller and my home address is 128 Main Street, Hickory, Pennsylvania in Washington County, 15340.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and so you say to yourself, what's she doing over here? And I sometimes when I'm driving here, I say the same thing. However, I have been in the social service business for a really long time. My last job was the executive director of the Washington Area Senior Citizens. And I am here because I was asked to interview and I decided that this would be a good challenge for me at the age of 75. So I'm a senior as well. And I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm not going to take a lot of your time, but I did want to let you all know that we are planning a lot of different kinds of things. We are expanding our exercise programs. We are trying to work specifically with dementia and the people who take care of people with dementia. We are going to be having an open house so that you can see where we are and see what we do. On November 6th at 3:30 to 5:30. Hope that you will all come and see what we do. I was really happy to see that you have a youth representative, because in all of the jobs that I have had previously, I have brought youth together with we don't want to call them elderly, but we want to just, grandpas and grandmas, and it has been originally I worked for Community Action, so I had Head Start and the senior programs together, and bringing them together has always been a really positive thing. I'm really happy to be here. Obviously, Oakmont is a very unique place to be, but I do think that we can reach out to help a lot more people than we are currently. I always go with the fact that my job is threefold, and that is nutrition, fourfold, excuse me, nutrition, education, and physical therapy, but also socialization. We know that people who are left on their own after their loved one has passed, or because they are just, that those are the things that lead to dementia. Socialization can make people so much healthier and so I'm hoping that it's as in my previous job, that I can build a sense of community there. And of course, that means all of you. It means a community that will be supported by everyone, youth as well as other things. So please feel free to call us and to come see us, to see what we're doing, and please come to the open house on November 6th. We would love to see you all there, and then you can help spread the word about what we're doing. Does anybody have any questions?
Well,
welcome. Thank you.
Glad to see you.
It's really fun to be here.
And I believe you sent us last month, didn't we get a brochure from you?
You got the newsletter.
Yeah,
It was the first for us.
Well,
Yes.
we will continue and send you the
Yes.
newsletter. It lists our meals, it lists the activities that we have. We do have a lot of very creative activities, like, dinner with friends. We make the reservation. You can come and we take you by bus to the place, and, people can eat someplace. But there's a lot of different things that we're trying to do. I'm trying to put together a support group, because we know that a lot of elderly people have either lost a loved one, or an example, in my old job, we had a woman who had lost her daughter, which, was very, and we were able to have a celebration of life for her, and everyone in the senior center came to do that. Having a sense of community makes you want to come and exercise. It makes you want to come and have lunch. I'm not going to stand here and lie and say that our lunches are gourmet every day, but they are cheap and they are nutritious. And we do want people to come and seek us out. And I think they'll be surprised that when they do, they will find other people that they can relate to.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And we will also take comments from anyone else in the public who would like to speak this evening. No? Yes. Could you come forward and
Okay,
and again, we need you to state your name and your address.
okay. My name is Marisa Patsy, and I live at 731 2nd Street in Plattsburgh. I'm just gonna kind of try to read this because I know there's a ton.
What was the street one more time?
I'm sorry,
Street numbers one more time.
731 2nd Street.
Thank you.
Sure. I live directly next to Riverside Park, and I'm opposed to the field lights. I believe the lights will significantly decrease the value of our property and our quality of life. They also have tax implications that should be considered by all taxpayers. Thank you. We have lived here for almost 25 years. We love the park. We use it daily, and so we know it better than most people in the community. But as neighbors of the park, we also put up with a great deal of inconveniences and annoyances, too numerous to list here. When the hockey lights were going in, we did not object to them because we were told that because they were across the field from us, we live on the 2nd Street side. that they would be directed at the rink and they would not impact us. That has not been the case. They shine directly into our house, even from all the way across the park, on our deck, and are frequently left on overnight. I've asked about getting them redirected, but no action has ever been taken. So when I am now told that how great these new field lights are gonna be, they'll be state of the art, they will only shine where they are directed, how they will be turned off by somebody's cell phone immediately after the games, you can imagine that we're skeptical. Some questions and things that I believe should be considered, where I'm interested to know where the standards are gonna first propose to be placed. Who will pay for the electricity maintenance and upkeep of the lights? I am told that they are only to be used for football and soccer games. What guarantees will be put into place that they won't be used for other things? And how will that stop future councils and school boards from changing those rules, if there are any, to have lights and events every night? Has anybody considered the liability issues? During the game on Friday night, there were very large groups of kids, some very young, running around in big groups all through the park, including the very dark bottom section, and playing in the dark playground, on the tennis courts, the pickleball courts, pavilions, by the fence to the river. That's as far as I could see. How are we gonna keep this from happening? The park closes at dusk for a reason, especially with the river being accessible. Also, additional police presence will be needed at additional cost to the taxpayers. The only person I saw trying to keep this situation under control on Friday was a park employee, and it's not his job to do that. There is not enough parking on Third Street during game days. It's a hazard, and that's even more dangerous in the dark and with the added weekday commuter traffic and aggressive drivers that cut through Third Street. As a neighbor to the park and a taxpayer, I would also like to know what projects are scheduled at the park, what the costs are, and who is paying for them. Can this information be made readily and easily accessible to the taxpayers? $64,000 was just spent on redoing the high school baseball infield using tax dollars. This benefits a very small number of students and their families, not really the community at large. I am told that no tax dollars will be used for the lighting project, but $100,000 that was given by the USGA is earmarked for the lights. This money should not be used for the lights. It should be used to offset costs of other park projects that have already been done or are in the works, so that our taxes will not be increased again this year. There are many parks projects that should be a much higher priority than the lights. Bathrooms at the parks are not even ADA accessible. That definitely should take precedence. I am asking the taxpayers in the community to consider the tax implications that the lights will have on the future budgets for both your borough and the school taxes, which were also raised last year. Also, just as an aside, some of my neighbors were not aware of the meetings. I'm not able to attend tomorrow, so that's why I'm here tonight. I did call and ask if the rec board meeting could be taped, and I was told that's not possible, but if it is possible, that would be greatly appreciated. And
October also.
I'm
They're
sorry.
meeting also in October. They're doing.
Yeah, right. I'm aware. I just kind of want to know, what the sentiment's going on, and will letters be sent to the park neighbors on Second, Third, and Pennsylvania? Because like I said, some people are elderly, they don't have social media, they don't get the texts. So I think that would be helpful if they got that. And again, if somebody can show where the light placements will be, I'm very interested in that, because I don't know if they're gonna be right next to my deck. And one other insight. My address was used for the recycling event, and I would appreciate it if that's not used again.
Wait for cycling to get back.
The hard to recycle, it's right in front of my house, so they used my address. We had people knocking on our door asking us.
But honestly, we don't fill out the application. We'll let Congress all know, because we don't fill out the application. They submit the applications to the state, and they're required to give a street address.
Okay, yeah, whoever, because it was advertised in a whole bunch of places, and I kept going, oh, interesting that I'm having a hard to recycle event, but they charged me for it.
But I thought it was on, I thought it was, they didn't do, they use Second Street for the newspapers, and
Yeah, actually, it might.
Third Street's newspaper
Yeah.
for some papers.
731 Second Street, yeah. We had pizza
Because-
delivered too, and it wasn't ours either. But thank you for your time, I appreciate
In
it.
Burton, we'll figure out, if 911 doesn't have a street address to the park, then I'll have to figure out something else, because that's what they need is a
I
street.
think there is, yeah, I think that's the problem. Okay, thank you.
Maria? Wait.
Marissa.
Marissa, sorry, I can't read my own hand.
It's Marisa, yeah.
Oh, Marisa, okay. I was gonna say, do you have an extra copy of what you just read from?
You can have it. I can't, I did it quickly, so I can't guarantee that it's all punctuation.
Oh, but yeah, I don't.
It was for my own.
You're not gonna be able to give it to the rec board, who's, you know, they're the ones that are absorbing all the information.
Yeah, I did that the last meeting and I talked to them, but,
Did you give them this?
no, I just did that. just
Did
for-
you specifically though, those topics, because those things.
Much, yeah, I mean, I know some of them and, they were not able to answer, you had told me to go to them, they weren't able to answer any of the questions.
Because there's some,
Budgets.
they gotta raise money first.
Yeah, or budgets and stuff, like for the other, yeah, they didn't know the answers.
Yeah, but you raised you raised the whole gamut of issues.
Yeah, it's just a lot of things that I
Probably
think
true
about.
for a lot of the neighbors.
Yeah.
And so if you can't be there by tomorrow to speak for yourself, I thought we.
That would be great, yeah, thank you, I would appreciate that.
Okay.
And like I said, Friday was a little bit concerning to me, because in the past I hadn't really considered about the number of kids that were, I mean, it was kind of scary, they were just mobs. And there's no way to keep them,
From above and below. Yeah.
no, so, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can you clarify why can't we contest?
Yeah.
Can we set it to?
Because I had to physically be here and I had plans for the morning. I was-
Can you show me and I will come?
I don't read it here, so. All right. Okay.
Do it.
You know, the time for the day, I'll,
Cause I gather that's probably a pretty good request for this. Thank you.
I just gonna be here.
Okay.
Can I also?
Oh, yes. I'm sorry, you're.
This is your time. Yeah, this is my time. Hey, you heard me before, but I'm Sally Vasco. And I live at 725 Second Street, right next, a door down from, Matt and Marissa. And, Patsy that was up earlier talking. And I just want to confirm everything she said is accurate and true. And, I back her up on everything she said. We've been inconvenienced in this area for many years now. Even whenever they do they had the golf and when they use our area as a staging area. And our local neighbors right on that end of Second Street were always inconvenienced. I just wanted to add that into what Marissa had said. Because they even use that for their topsoil, they use that for even when the golf game, but that isn't too bad because that was taken care of. But I just get angry that when we pay taxes just like everybody else, and we're the residents down there that is most inconvenient for the staging areas. And I would like to suggest that there's the school and they have their long driveway down there next to the park, which they could easily use that as a staging area for any park improvements down there, instead of the parking lot where everybody's supposed to go in for the park. And the parking lot itself is a disaster anymore. It needs to be updated. So, and right now, we're just dealing with the dust and the aftermath of what they did for the, started off with the baseball field and then with the grass replacement there for the golf. And it's ongoing. And it's just an inconvenience of living at that end of the streets, the neighborhood that we've been inconvenienced for. So I just want to make light of that maybe somebody can take light of that, move staging areas, maybe down at the end of the school. Their driveway and stuff. Or limit it anyways, so. That's all, but everything that she said is inconvenient, and I'm opposed to the lights as well. Because I live there and it shines, even the hockey, the court shines on my house as well. And I know Pat, I'm going to sort of speak, because her and I had conversations before. She lives across from me, I don't know her house. Never been to her house. So, she already has complained to us just in conversation and small talk that she was opposed to the lighting because it shines right in her dining room. And that's not even the proposed lighting for the field. So I don't know how this is all going to work out. So, but I'm gonna just take that in consideration.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you for coming.
Thank you.
That's all?
Hi,
Stop there.
my name is Laura Amos. I'm 728 3rd Street. And I I'm a lifer, I've been here all my life in Oakmont, love Oakmont. These are my neighbors. Didn't know they were coming tonight, and I appreciate y'all being here and hearing us out. I felt extremely unsafe these past few days. Thursday night, Friday night, I don't know I know this is about the lighting, and I'm very, very concerned about how many more events will the lights be bringing? Is this just about the football team having a few under the, Friday night lights games? Or is this gonna open up to a lot more? Because I will attest that there were just a lot of kids. I didn't recognize them. I mean, I've been a music educator in this community for 30 years. I have encountered these past couple these night lights. It's so dangerous on our street. There's kids, there's traffic. We cannot park on either side of the street and pass two vehicles. I get it. People are angry and I tried to pull out of my driveway and it was just awful. I feel so unsafe. I do. People are angry and it just seems to be escalating. There's a lot that's happening in our world. I get it. And it's a lot of people are angry for a lot of different things, but they don't understand the traffic pattern. It's not reasonable. It doesn't make any sense. People were driving up. We have video of this if you'd like to see it. People were driving up. This didn't happen this week. This happened previously at a night event. People were driving up around a parked car onto the sidewalk to get back into the street. And like I said, that's my neighbor's video. I was there. I just didn't record it. She recorded it. But people are just crazy. And these nighttime events down there just scare me. It really does. I'm very, very, very concerned. And I appreciate that the kids want to play. I get it. I'm very disappointed as a music educator that they cut our music program. They cut the things for the band. That's what really matters to me, not the damn sports, but that's me. So I'm just going to say that for what it's worth. I know sports rule. I know that's a big thing. I'm not a fan of a lot of those coaches. But again, that's all right. That's my opinion because they don't let them play if they have a music lesson to go to, Doesn't seem fair. Anyway, I digress, but I appreciate your time and your efforts. I appreciate every one of you. I know you put a lot of time into this. And thank you for hearing us out. And please consider everything. This is huge. And just one more thing is, Marissa, I think it was you that made a point. The other parts of the park, I have grandchildren, little ones, and the playground itself has been just ignored for so long. I would love to see some of that money go to make it safer. There's these things sticking out of the ground. I mean, it's dangerous. You can't push a stroller. There's clover and bees everywhere. I don't know about that. Maybe we just have to embrace nature, but it could use some loving down there.
These will run like 10, 15 minutes. It's in the agenda.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Well, thank everybody that came tonight. I mean, it's helpful. It's the only way we can really learn what neighbors think and we will be sure to pass this on to rec board. And if you can come to the rec board meeting tomorrow, that would be a good idea too. Let them know what you're thinking. Okay, correspondence.
I have one that came in since we last met. It's regarding deer. From Mary Amanda Dew, lives at, I'll say this slowly, 888 8th Street.
Never forget you would do.
The title was Deer Problem. I filled out the survey a while ago. Last night we had 9 deer in our front yard. That is too many. It's a public health hazard. We routinely have 4 to 5 deer every evening, but the herd is growing. There's excrement everywhere. What will you do with the deer problem? Question mark. We cannot await a survey that may or may not lead to any action. Please do something. This is a hazard that is growing larger and larger. For the record.
There's a lot of baby deers born, but it's similar that have decided to make homes. It
Hold it back.
is, it's really.
It's so lucky.
Yeah. Everything down across the street now.
Over for, I mean.
Till the end of the
Not
meeting.
for deer too. Come on. Oh, I think we started. Oh.
End of the meeting.
Sit on down. Sorry.
Okay, did you have any other correspondence you want?
No other correspondence.
Okay, council minutes, we have the, August 19th regular meeting minutes. Did anybody have any corrections or changes to those minutes?
I did get some grammatical and some contextual changes to the minutes. I added that Borme pluralized when it should be singular, misspelling, and just a grammatical fix. Nothing major, just a comment.
And that was done in what the people are seeing.
August 19th minutes, yes, and then Ann Street was spelled with an E, which the computer does on its own. In the September 2nd meetings, that was it, that I received.
Okay. All right, so the minutes, as you have seen them in your packets, are there any other changes or comments? Just for the 19th? Yeah. If there are none, then those minutes will be approved as written. The second minutes for the work session for September 2nd. And the same question, are there comments or questions? I guess John has some.
Yeah, line 190. It should be an anaerobic digester, tester.
Which, I'm sorry, what date?
Line 190, September 2nd, 2020. Public Works,
Digester.
an anaerobic digester.
Anything else?
No?
The only thing I had was, under public works is, we just have the category of potholes, but we don't have any, what the comments were. Which I don't remember exactly what they were, it's got, I know.
Sorry, then, we're,
Okay.
Line 193.
I don't have it in front of me, I'm sorry.
So I just would suggest we insert that and we can pass these minutes. At our next. The work session. And no other changes, if you think of other changes, let us know. Okay, so August 19th was approved as read. And September 2nd will be held for further changes. Mr. Bodie, discussion items?
Yes, first, under Civil Service Commission, I wanted to give council a one-time update on the status of how everything's proceeding to fill the slot and renew the eligibility list. The Civil Service Commission officially received 6 applications for the eligibility list. 5 applications were accepted outright. 1 was disqualified. A reason was not provided to us. 1 applicant failed to provide additional information by a deadline set by the Civil Service Commission. So that resulted in 4 applicants being approved to the next phase of, I don't know, I mean, really, I don't know. I know. So it gets better. So we had 4 applicants show up the physical agility test at the North Park Training Academy. Chief Ford was the host and brought them to the academy. 3 applicants appeared. 1 did not without any reason provided. So now we're down to 3 applicants. Of the 3 applicants, 2 passed the agility test and will move on. 1 did not pass the agility test and therefore disqualified. What I can tell you is me talking with the solicitor for civil service as well as the secretary for civil service. We're currently working with the Pennsylvania Chiefs Association, which is the body that does the written examination as well as the oral interview. The solicitor has suggested, and the Civil Service Commission is going to go forward, is they're going to do both in one day. Save time and effort and energy and expenses, because we do, the interviewers do come from the other side of the state to keep that neutrality in place, and we pay for the hotel stay. And while they say the Hampton Inn, it's still the Hampton Inn. So we're working currently now with the Chiefs Association to create a scope of work. The Chiefs Association typically provides an agreement that I sign off on, and then we get the date settled, and we let the applicants know when that happens. And then we give the building to the Chiefs Association to conduct the interviews. And we go from there. That's your update for civil service. And we're going as fast as we can. Thank you. So.
right now, there's only two possibilities.
That is correct. Yes.
Any ideas to, what is, any ideas to how likely they are?
They're fairly good candidates, it's just everywhere it's going through this, apartments used to get 150 or get 5. The county police just tested 800 when they used to be 2,200. State trooper I just talked to used to be around 8,000 to 9,000, they had 720 for the state. That's the entire state, so everybody's going through this crisis, as I can say, because when I went out for the physical, Joey, currently 44 cadets in the training, only 12 of those are not smokers. Those are part-time full ball Allegheny County as well.
Is this a cadet? Couldn't pass.
No. That's a different issue.
Communications committee, I think I turned over to you now, man, about things.
Okay, so our deer survey, I don't know why it's cut off, but it put it on September 7th, 2025. Just to give you an overview. And I'll send these slides around. This is a general map of most of the respondents. A few of them, their addresses weren't registering correctly, but I still feel like this gives a fairly accurate representation that we have sprinkles from all over the residential areas of Oakmont. And in all the little like housing developments within Oakmont. So I think that when it comes to the accuracy of the survey and getting the public response, it looks like a really great representation. 3 people, sorry, I didn't update that. 6 people listed out of Oakmont, yet 1 provided an Oakmont address still. 1 was Springdale, 1 was Leechburg, and 3 were from Verona. So 6 total, everybody else was from within Oakmont. So this is the response to over the last several years, has the number of deer in your neighborhood increased overall, a wild resounding yes, everyone has seen the population increase. Throughout this section, they examined on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the deer problem in your area? I want to point out this part right here is where a little over the majority say 410 responses that we have a pretty significant problem here in Oakmont. Again, this is 620 responses for the survey. So you can see we're acknowledging that there is a problem here. So while driving in Oakmont, how severe of a problem do you consider the deer to be? Please rate on a scale of 1 to 10. Again, if we're looking at that upper extremity, you're looking at 359 people, so almost 60% of people saying that there's a problem with driving. Now the data does get, I feel, a little goofy when it comes to the accidents. So I'm not sure if there's like a misunderstanding with whether or not, the accident was within Oakmont or not. So this, yes, more than once, and yes, once, comes in at 163 people. At 26.3% have had some sort of accident in Oakmont. And then looking at this other piece, the almosts are in at 184 or 29% of the respondents. And again, this question is out of 620 respondents. But what's weird is, so we have 347 that state like yes or almost when you add up that 163 and 184. In theory, those should be the people that respond to the next question. However, instead of it being out of 347, only 339 people respond to this question. So I'm not sure if they just didn't know that they should continue to explain where the accident takes place. So 339 responded to this question, most of them saying, their deer accidents are occurring in Oakmont. And then as a follow-up, let's just break down 273 is the 80.5%. Did the accidents incident, oh, did I do it twice? I think I just have the same side quest, sorry. Alright, well, so if not, in theory, this should be just like 66 people responding to this. But again, it was like way more people than should have responded to this, so I don't know how accurate this piece is. I was trying to make it so that if, but no, then it's like, okay, where were you? And these numbers just don't quite add up. It's more than the 66 people responded to that question. So I'm not quite sure about this data being incredibly accurate. So for the health impacts, we've got a bunch of different responses. I do think it's important to note that we have some like prefer not to say, which is, 100% acceptable, of course. So people that were comfortable sharing said yes, they know somebody that contracted Lyme disease. 365 said no. There are 17 people that click these other category, that's that like white chunk taken out of the graph. But in reviewing their responses, most of them said that they have other health impairments that may or may not have come from Lyme disease or deer. They just never officially got a diagnosis or checked it out. But a lot of people noted that they regularly are picking deer off themselves, or ticks off themselves or their children or their animals. So perhaps if we did something like this in the future, we should consider rephrasing the question to be more about the ticks and less about the ailment that may or may not come from it. How have the deer impacted your health? So I don't know why transitions are weird. This is me learning. So you can kind of see the breakdown here, but we do have 48 people at least feeling that there's a moderate problem. Where we have a lot of responses that say that it's not at all, but in the comments, again, kind of the same thing. From potential ailments to the proximity to deer, and also a lot of comments about deer feces. So it was like more concerns that like children are playing outside and that's everywhere and it's getting places, not necessarily that like it's directly impacted their health. So for landscaping damage, 82% of the people, which is 513 people, out of the 620 responses, say that deer has damaged their landscaping.
We need those 85 people so we can see what they did.
So got that. So, if so, how extensive was the damage? 585 people responded to this, but only 513 on the previous one said yes, there's damage. So it's some extra humans decided to change their mind and kind of share how the deer had damaged. So minor, moderate, severe, and again, you can see where the damage is happening. It is pretty severe and significant. We did ask people about their effectiveness of deer repellent. And we have just a few people coming in at they've figured this out at 23 people. 3.7% have an excellent way to solve it. The other category, a majority of them talk about using something and finding strong success at first, but over time the deer get used to it and it's a moot point anyway. So 17 people respond to the question that they have excellent results, and these are the two brands that stick out from those results. So for what it's worth, I am not employed by these, I know nothing about them. I have read some reviews that say that they're fantastic. I don't know the implication for other animals or pets, but one had 12 mentions and one had 3 mentions. There were some suggestions. I guess I could wait for that to be done.
It's gonna be another thing. Yeah, we're in structured fire and
Okay. Well, some people had mentioned that they use some sort of like fence for the deer and not any sort of spray. So that was in the comments too, that they're doing some sort of fencing system to help with that. So for plants and education, a lot of people feel like they are planting already deer resistant plants. So we have 66 people respond with like, I already do this. 312 people are interested in doing so. We've got some maybes, but overall a generative positive response. And just like the last question, they noted, people responded with like, it doesn't matter what I do, the deer are gonna eat it, or I tried it, it won't work. But this is the education piece. Hold on. Clearly my copy is not kicked in. Okay. I forgot to switch the question on here, but this was in response to, would you like to be educated on more options for plants? And so 293 people, almost half of the people that took the survey, would really like to hear more about what should I be planting that's deer resistant. So that's something we could do through the communication committee and kind of put some information out there about what to plant. As far as the ordinance go, it may come at no shock to anyone that we're pretty split as to how many people knew that this ordinance existed or did not know about this ordinance. And to me, I kind of take this as like, if you didn't know about the ordinance, you might have thought that it was okay to feed the deer. I did post a social media post that I cleared with both Phyllis and Scott about, different facts about this harms the deer. There are, a substantial amount of comments on that where people are pointing out that it's like the same people feeding the deer, depending on the thread that it's on. So, do you think other people are aware of this? A resounding 1 through 5 gets 558 of the responses. So whether or not, half the people feel that they knew about it, the other half don't. But when they're responding about their neighbors, they feel like nobody else seems to know about this ordinance. Which again is very telling. So hopefully, there was a news article in the Advanced Leader about the deer. So we've got like paper options. We've come through social media. We've done texts before. So just continuing to educate people. And I think that it may not hurt to like post some sort of signs in like high traffic areas. So like having something down at the library on the bulletin board, I think could be very helpful. So as far as Borough's next steps goes, what I passed around is like the more of the raw data. I didn't want to print it. It was like 48 pages when I started.
Oh.
And so if a response doubled, like if everybody only picked one thing, I did 93 people said this. And if they picked 3 things and all these people picked the same 3 things, then it says like times 77 or whatever the number is. I did filter it later. I printed this out kind of early, filtered it, and I sent you the filtered copy. I think if you're going to take the time to explore these raw data comments, what's worth it are any of the ones that say ×1, which means it's a unique comment, and odds are not only did they select some options, but they provided their own feedback, ranging from deer birth control to introducing predators to like capture and relocate. I mean, the making sure we consult experts. So there's just different personalized touches on there if you would like to read that. But to take this and to synthesize it into something a lot easier to understand, all 620 people that started the survey did answer this. The respondents can check more than one response. That's really important to note because if you look, the percentages don't add up to 100% because they could choose more than one. So of the 625, I put these in order of highest responses to lowest responses, and I'm not including in this anything that's an individual response because that would only tally 1, and then this would be pages and pages. But the overwhelming winner of this, if you will, is 339 people felt that there should be some sort of community managed archery hunt, providing the meal is donated to food pantry. The 3 that I highlighted that have 249 responses, 291 responses, and 339 responses are all archery related. So I think that is worth note that if there is an option for people to move forward with something, it seems like what people would prefer is something with archery. There are also though 307 people that stand firm on they support non-lethal measures. But if you look at the raw data, it's only like 90 of them that said that was the only option. So a lot of those 307, yes, there's 90 that only support that, but the rest of them, like 210, say, I would support non-lethal, but I also, and they clicked on other options as well, and I think that's really important to know.
As I understand it, there are no non-lethal options.
But getting the public support for our next step, I think, is critical.
And only archery can be used in the borough.
Again, letting people know the options. I didn't design the original survey. It was sent out, people agreed on it, so it's reporting the data based on public support. 91 are at the bottom saying I do not support deer population control. There was a small typo on the survey and basically that option was twice. And so I just took the two numbers and combined them, so it was like 11 people clicked it once and 80 people clicked it somewhere else, so I just had the same answer twice. But this overall kind of tells you what the public would like to see us do in terms of next steps. And I believe that this says that there is public support for moving forward with archery. Whatever that method may be. So I'll send you out the slides. I'll make some quick edits to the ones I didn't catch. It's been a whirlwind start to the school year, so I apologize.
Put on the website.
Yeah, I can do that.
Can I ask you a question of Mike here? Do we have any idea how much of the borough is, could be used for archery?
Right, so a lot smaller, window with archery as far as the safety zones. I believe now it's not 150 feet of structures. So private property owners could allow people on it. You have valleys in certain valleys here that people already hunt because hunting laws supersede any ordinance except for firearms. That's why firearms don't work as the safety zones.
Right.
But the archery does work, and you have your parks. That's also going to take on more education. The only way I see this is that game commission, you can tell them all you want, they're going to say you need to eradicate violence. That's it. Sterols, none of that works. You need a company, in my opinion, because I'm not an expert in archery. I archery hunt. I'm not an expert. So you need somebody like Whitetail, or I think there's 2 or 3 other companies out there. City Use, everybody. The one thing with that is those companies maintain the proficiency of the archers. Just like Boys Park, you have to pass a test, a shooting test to hunt in Boys Park. They do the same things here. So I think that's your best worthwhile options, and then it would be educating the public that you can't harass a hunter in a tree. Because that's also a part of the game laws, you can't harass hunters. So that's gonna take educating. But I couldn't tell you other parks would come down to physically measuring, which people do. But the big long tape measures, they measure out and say, where's my tree stand? And you're absolutely right. Some we've had disputes called game commission, they looked at it and said it's fine. So,
But you think that, you know, I'm not asking for a specific number or something, but as I understand, you believe there's enough area that an archery program could actually reduce the deer
it
herds.
could make some impact, yes, and there's other options. I can speak to watch out. They do different, but it's their police department that uses firearms. And it's at different times and only in certain areas, and that's how they call the herd. So that's another option, but that's. I would prefer the other way. Archery.
If they do archery, do they, maybe you don't, I don't know if you know this, do they announce to the community that there will be archers? From
I
this time
think
to
they
this
put some
time?
parks. They'll put some parks around trees saying archery hunting progress. I know that's what the city did.
I feel like
There's a huge lift in communications when we know we've identified an entity that's gonna do this for us. And when that entity identifies who the archers are gonna be. And then we'll do the big PR, like say, oh, like this is where it's gonna happen, here's how it's gonna happen, that type of deal. That's an operations.
I was also wondering if the country club, I don't know that anybody is the.
They handle their own, they very specific who they let on their property.
Okay, so they do hunt.
Correct, yes.
I feel like if we move forward with something such as, archery, it's almost. I don't know the exact timeline, but like a year in advance where like we keep saying the day and it's over and over and over, or like whatever the dates are, because I just think to get word out, I mean, if we've got how long the survey was on, and we tried to use every method possible. And I'm pleased with the results, but it's definitely not everybody in Oakland that either knew about it or could do it. I think we pick something, it's like picking a time period for 2026 and advertise.
Well, the entities will tell us when it can be able to do
The
it.
archery starts 2 weeks from now and goes. Allegheny County, it's huge. It lasts almost all the way through February now. Slight breaks.
So like for next year.
I know what the city does it, correct? It's on the news stations. Like this is the weekend we're doing it at Frick Park. Repeatedly that weekend. They say that.
I think it should be a mailer, because I think that's the best way to make sure that as many people are as informed as possible. I know that runs into cost, but. We also have to be. Let's see, yeah.
We have back in, the end date that will.
Okay, all right, I just don't want someone coming up to us and saying, I didn't know, and you were shooting near such and such, and oh my goodness.
No, I mean, we did that
Yeah,
early,
yeah.
it's the death and advertisements only have to respond to it existed.
I missed that, Scott.
We did a big news blast when we did the deer ordinance and the ramifications of only 50% of the answer, the people answering the survey knew there was a deer ordinance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're always gonna get somebody who says they didn't know.
I had one other question for Mike, you that your numbers for accidents, so I just wondered, and I don't think you probably have some top of your head, but like if you could look and see how many reported accidents you had.
Most 90, probably 95%.
That's what everybody's
They just, we can tell you, we picked up 3 so where they got hit, I don't know, but most of those aren't marked by law and report. Most of them are hit, people want to make calls and say there might be a deer on the line. I think I mean, there really is no.
Does that help?
I'm ignorant about like hunting rules and regulations, but I also wonder if there's like a way to do it where it's during school hours, because then we know where all the kids are. Like this takes place during school hours because all the kids are at school.
I think you need to sit down with the company. Because the company is gonna say, if you want us to do this, we're gonna abide by the game hunting laws. You guys can probably set whatever you want as a council, but to get those hunters to work till somewhere midnight, so they're gonna get off and hunt 7 to 3. Some are gonna get off work at 3 and hunt till dark. You have half hour before sunset, half hour after sunset, it's the shooting. I think we would be better let them company see whoever you bet or 2 or 3, I don't know the companies. But that's probably what they're gonna tell you, if you want the most bang for the money, you're paying them to manage. Back gonna walk in, bad fun.
No,
But yeah, one more to it, but that's what I would do, see what their policy is. And I think if you're spending the money, let them manage, let them do efficiently plus.
Okay, thank you very much. And Deb, thanks for initiating all this, you're not listening to. Deb, thank you for initiating. You're welcome, and thank you, Amanda, for this wonderful. And Amanda, that was a great, I mean, this at least gives us. A
And I-
good beginning.
I emailed you guys out, like I said, the data, and I'll update the slides and resend them out.
Okay.
As well.
Okey-dokey.
Okay, our next item is the library board. One more reminder that tomorrow, starting at 3, is the Teen Libraries Town Hall in the Oak Room for the consulting firm to take input from the teenagers in the community about how they'd like to see their library adapt and evolve. Followed up by a 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock community town hall in the library. We did a text alert today announcing both of them as a reminder for both separate brackets. So there's more details both on the community calendar as well as the library's calendar events about these meetings. In your packet is the library director's report for the previous month. Average daily visits were just over 460 individuals. The August circulations was 8,600 of them. Year to date, it's over 62,000. They ran 19 programs. The program attendance was 363 individuals. Makerspace operating hours were 157. Makers Mart had 163 attendees. I think they're already trying to schedule another one. I think I saw somewhere. 1,500 unique visits to the website. There were 1,000 separate logins using the Wi-Fi. Turned out to be over 485 hours of use of the borough's of the Wi-Fi availability there. And you get some of her updates that you can see there for more details. Brian and I are meeting with her tomorrow to go over the 2026 budget, at least the second round of it with them, and incorporating some of the things that we don't know about just yet.
And she makes note of the overages on repairing the HVAC this past year.
Yes.
And I just wanna, remind us that we did set aside money for capital
Mhm.
matters that, we don't want them to be unable to do their normal projects. And we do have some money extra money sit there for repairs if this falls within that description.
So. Then following the director's report is the meeting minutes from their July meeting that were approved for release. Okay. Recreation Board is next. First, I want to announce, we mentioned this evening, both tomorrow and in October's regular meeting, the Recreation Board is going to listen to the public commentary about the field lights, taking comment like we did. I don't expect them to be doing an exchange, but at least they get a chance. At least there's 2 more opportunities. I hope they can set up a Zoom meeting. We'll do a live stream for it as well. Go from there. Point number 2, I want to talk real quick. We did meet out at Chateau Beach Park last week with the residents along the property line. For the most part, it was an affirmative meeting. Went over some of the details of the drawings, confirming what they had asked for back at the onset of their meeting, at the special meeting, that we did provide the buffer and the higher lake fence. We've already made arrangements for the tree to be taken down that was already dying and leaning the wrong way, and working on getting rid of the vines. Some of the things that, we're reassuring about they talked to us, consider about the office hours, the park hours. We never envisioned it being any different than Riverside Park or Creekside Park itself. Going from there. If there's anything you wanted to add briefly. But
I was there for this, but do we have a more accurate grand opening kind of a weekend date that I could?
when we get closer, I'll let you know.
Okay.
We have to get that. No,
We'll get that through them. When we have a really good idea, we'll let you know. Any other comments about Chateau Beach? No? Okay. We do have an action item for council's consideration tonight. It's the first payment to the contractor who's working at Chateau Beach. Item number 3.
I'll take a motion.
So
Wait a minute, you either have to say what it is or I'll say what it is. You want to say the details, go ahead.
I move to approve payment number 1 in the amount of $6,946.74 to VS&H Construction Company LLC for the Chateau Beach Dog Park project.
Then Orme made a motion to approve payment number 1 for the Chateau Beach Dog Park project. Is there a second?
I'll second.
John Arnold seconds. Is there any discussion? Everybody okay?
Mhm.
Okay. There's no discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That passes unanimously.
Okay, well, they all left, but I was gonna share updates on the Riverside Park improvements that are occurring currently between now and the end of this year. First of all, you know that the 2025 road paving program is including paving half of the stone walking trail from the park maintenance garage towards the 2 pavilions. And that we're still waiting on the county to release the grant funding. We can finish the rest of the trail from the first pavilion back to where it dead ends by the playground. John, you tried. It doesn't seem to be going anywhere. You tried, but I don't think it's going anywhere. You reached out to Ron Walker. The executive director about the call about how's this moving along, and he really didn't have an answer.
Oh, on the 88 tree.
Yeah, the ADA joke, yes.
Well,
Again, this,
he did answer.
he did,
There was a response.
I see.
According to him, we're awaiting a approval from the county Department of Environmental, whatever. That somehow the environmental, that for that little short, 150 feet, which is really the extension of a trail they've already approved, there's still some bureaucrat who's in the way. And that bureaucrat's in the environmental department, down the county. But Rob's trying to get on top of it.
okay. Thank you. Another discussion was brought to see about the playground. As we're aware, the county released a $600,000 grant with no match required out to Oakmont Borough to make park improvements, specifically the playground at Riverside Park, and then a new and improved entrance at the northern gate, which ties in because of the new basketball court and the deck hockey, I could think of it was. Currently, it looks like it's just a swinging gate that just has a bar on it, closes, opens. The Park Recreation Board gave Lennon Smith Solder the okay to create the design that you see here on the screen for the northern gated entrance. It's better than what you see there currently, which is just two stockade fences that are attached together with a chain. It is double wide in length, so we can access it with a vehicle or maintenance equipment necessary. It gives a finished look to the northern entrance to the park, which mirrors what's at the main ticket booth when you go behind the bleachers, as well as extend some of the fence further down the property line to enhance and improve this area, at least as far as the deck hockey. I think that's an alternate add, but we're definitely working to improve this intersection right here because it is your new walkway to the basketball courts, to deck hockey, and to baseball as well. Again, this was a $600,000 grant. Once we get our numbers from what it would cost to build this, then we have a real firm number what it does to do the playground equipment. The playground equipment is to be accessible, is to be adaptable for different age brackets. We're looking currently at the different fall zone improvements. We're looking at rubberized surface, but then looking at other surfaces that are not part of the fall zone area. So we don't have to worry about doing bark mulch or grass. I've not seen a final plan. There's really been on any final plans designed that even Recreation Board can come back and say, we like this. The initial RFP went out to 3 entities that are state contracts. We don't have to do the bid process, but we said, okay, give us your best shot. This is what we're going to look at. They've identified one vendor and they're working closely with them now to say, okay, here's your budget. What can we get that's inclusive and accessible, and go from there.
Does this also include improvements to the bathrooms?
We never did. No. We're
Um,
working, and that's got to be the next phase because that building footprint has to change incredibly to fit an ADA bathroom, period. We'd have to sacrifice floor space to do it.
unless, for what it's worth, the 2 bathrooms that are by the bleachers, one is converted to an ADA compliance. The ground level to the appropriate width, could also fit an adult changing station within them.
So where are the big bleachers?
So that's the next project after this. Depending on the grant applications, I have a good authority. The state is probably looking more towards infrastructure grants as opposed to park grants, just so we know moving forward. So, okay. Just I wish they were here to hear it because that was really the only 2 projects going on. That's the only projects in the park this year. And the baseball field was a deferred project. That first one came here in 2019. We used an entity that was the contract to do the work at PNC Park. They made some improvements. It did not work out as best as possible. So we made more grass, less dirt. So that's what we've been working on with this project. Yes.
Can we get a clarification that I've heard this number, 100K from the golf people?
Yes.
How is that specifically dedicated to a project in the park?
They said park improvements,
Just park improvements in general?
but they really geared it, but the lobbying of the members that asked for something for the borough that I know of far no conversation about was that we'd really like to get a foundation in place for lighting the fields.
Well. Is
Rec
it
board, yeah, and other people too outside the rec board.
the 100K that is, we got from the government? Is that legally obligated to any specific project within the park?
No. But it was given to the borough with the behest of of individuals seeking funding to do a park improvement that included the field lights.
I don't.
That's fine. I mean,
think
yeah,
that
Means is they asked if we have money for the field lights, is what they probably asked.
So what?
I'm just
That
trying to
he
defend
is
it.
legally obligated then.
It's not my position.
I mean, if people said, we don't want lights, if the rec board came and said, 500 people showed up with pitchforks against the lights or for the lights, is there any legal obligation as to how that money is spent?
I'm not comfortable to provide an opinion on that without the.
Yeah.
The part of those negotiations or discussions, I'm not sure what was said, what was requested. I would need more information before I were to give an as to the lack effect of it.
Could we have the things?
I think we would have to talk to members of who were in those communications. I need more information before I.
Yeah, and I don't know who's in those communications, to be honest with you.
Isaiah made it.
Oh, I don't.
No. I was gonna say, I
do the same, question that John is having, kind of how did this all come to be and, why isn't you being directed?
Yeah, because, I mean, people. Well, we heard it here, people are saying there's 100K for the lights. Okay, and the question is that 100K just for the lights? So if there are no lights, it goes away? Or is it 100K for park improvements that is not legally obligated to any specific improvement?
We don't have to return it, if that's what you're asking.
So I guess-
We don't have to return the money, if
Yeah,
that's what you're asking.
Well, I mean, what we can know, and I'm sure there must be some piece of paper. That when the USGA provided the money, they had to have provided it with some kind of information, which I'm guessing is probably a letter saying enclosed as a check, for
Technically, it was wired to us.
was there had to be some kind
I'll have to
of,
dig through, I'll dig through the,
Can
I'll
we
do
get
the emails.
clarification on
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Please.
I'll try, I really will. I've saved all my emails, I don't know, it just.
I mean, I'm sure it didn't just magically appear.
Yeah, I think the
Right,
rec board,
yeah.
I mean, people from school board and Brava and stuff are planning on going tomorrow, so I think, John, you would see also an overwhelming pool. I think today we just saw people gas.
I'm not taking a position one way or another, I just wanna know how that money is obligated.
And I'm just making a comment on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Other announcements of old business, I do want to confirm that based on an email we received from the contractor, they are pushing back to September 29th to start working on the road program. They may start sooner. The fact is, again, as I said last month, Felina was fortunate enough to get not only the PennDOT project for Allegheny River Boulevard from Sandy Creek up to Holton Road, and then other spots in Plumboro along Costco Hill Road. Felina also had the paving contract with Plumboro and the road program for Oakmont, and all three of us at the same time said, don't do anything until the US Open's over. So everything was awarded in May, and everyone said, don't do anything until after June. So realistically, we lost, all of June and half of July. So now they're hurrying up and they're working overnights. I already see them on Allegheny Avenue working on state work. So they're getting closer, working closer to Oakmont to get the stuff done. And where the street work might take 1 to 2 weeks to do, the paving may take a day. Because it's straight poles, that's easy traffic control. Hindsight being that Washington Avenue wasn't used that much during the Gulf Open, US Open, we probably could let them do it anyway. Being hindsight. So.
John,
I know.
nobody believed me that they would be anywhere near us.
Little shuttle went to Washington. I don't know where-
Look at it. That could handle the shuttle. That could handle the shuttle. Wasn't the Vancouver drop
They
off
would've
of
gone
Pennsylvania?
fast. Put it up Maryland, you know, I mean, it's in hindsight, we could, if this ever, 10 years from now, go ahead and do the
Well, I
road
think
in May.
We want any more work done in
Yeah.
2033.
Right, right.
The second item, the railing replacement, the contractor advised Lennon Smith Solar, they are geared to be completed with the project by the end of September. Pothole repairs, Wade Lane has been addressed in the last week or so, and they're attending to some of Washington Avenue, but again, they're not trying to get too far ahead of themselves, knowing that Felino is coming in eventually to tear up the road anyways.
I just have I brought this up before, it's just a question. On the pothole repairs that are done on roads that are not going to be paved. Are we using something more substantial than coal patch?
We're moving hot mix, that's.
We are using hot patch.
Hot mix, yes. Hot mix asphalt is gonna be able to, on Virginia between 8th and 9th sometime this week. You'll see the keyways being cut in for the road, so there's a better embankment, and then we're using hot mix to make the repair.
And we did that on Wade Lane.
I don't know what they use on Wade Lane, I'll be honest with you. Josh and I were passing, I didn't ask specifically, they said the roads were addressed in Wade Lane. And if it's a deep enough pothole, coal patch lasts for years. It's the thin potholes where the hot mix glues better to the street than coal patch does.
Just, we ought to try to make it last.
Well, we tried, but hot mix, you have to go to the closest plant, but you have to keep it hot in the truck, and we do have the canvas for the truck to do so. But you'd like to have that, you want to have enough of a mix, so it doesn't go cold in the truck, and it becomes warm oatmeal versus cold oatmeal.
You know about how long in the season for the plants is?
They're required to shut down. The term is usually in November, but you got to, when you have when you have days that are not above 40 degrees and rising. So then they may be closed on Monday, but open on Tuesday, Wednesday in November.
Okay.
It's got to be a steady thing. The shutdown is after Thanksgiving, no, definitely. 3rd Street in your action, we have an action item later, so I'll go into detail. We're taking Lennon Smith's recommendation to reject the bid since it was won and way over, but re-advertising because we believe if we gave you don't have to start until 2026. You might get more interest from you will get interest from contractors lining up work for next year. And then foundation parking lot, I finally included Jake in an email thread between the foundation's developer representative, the borough and PennDOT's HOP division, which is the one that says you can continue doing work. They're doing their process of reviewing the second phase, which we showed to you last month. The phase, which is immediately in front of the parking lot and a little bit of a sliver that goes down what's we know is Adeline Brown Way. The permitting division has agreed that it does not impact the turnback situation we're in, but they're not fast tracking it, even though they saw this same application for work 3 months ago. And there's so much put in writing that said they're doing it their normal process. So odds are the foundation won't be able to do any concrete work or asphalt work probably until the beginning of the spring, because by the time the permit's issued, the construction season's too tight anyways. I included Jake with this just because I tried interjecting, and they acknowledge the fact that no, the highway occupancy permit for the work does not impact turnback, so at least they started the review, but that's the best I could do. Anything to add, sir? Okay. Okay, administration, we have some action items in a row. First is resolution number 9.
This is regarding the recycling center on Ann Street. Can I have a motion to approve resolution number 9 of 2025, confirming the borough's application to the redevelopment authority of Allegheny County for grant proceeds in the amount of $300,000 to construct a recycling center on Ann Street. So,
Yeah, so
Amanda Ignata moved, is there a second? Jennifer seconds. I think we need a discussion here.
It's a $300,000 grant application for design and construction of what we consider to be a recycling center down on Ann Street to better address the positioning of the glass recycling bin and the carpet recycling bin, make it user friendly. Cardboard, not so much of a challenge, but the glass recycling, you've got to be over 6 foot tall sometimes to get the glass in the bin. So essentially be a simplified type of an elevated ramp or some type of impression that allows you to do this as opposed to trying to do this with glass and other things. It dresses it up because right now it just looks like 2 abandoned dumpsters down there. But they've been kept clean, they're on camera. It's just a convenience thing and something that seems because is the success we are seeing with both cardboard, which is amazing.
Awesome.
Yes.
It's full again.
It's full again, but the numbers are getting up there. I think Phyllis did an update. I want to say 12 ton, but I'm not exactly sure. Accumulative.
Wow.
And glass is getting up there too, and has been getting up there. We're over the hundreds already. So we want to make it more of a permanent fixture down there. So.
Yeah, you're right about the plans. If you don't get there right when it's empty, like somebody might like. Shoving it in there.
Sorry about that.
I do have some concerns about us continuing to get more and more grants. Because, especially not knowing what kind of match there may or may not be. Do you know?
We're not identifying a match in this one.
You
We're
don't
not,
know the.
we're not gonna give it, we're not looking to have a match now.
Okay, so we're applying for it with the understanding that there is no match.
Yes.
Because we have done so much good things in the parks, you know, with all these grants. But our roads are in need, as we all know, and we're in the process of getting there, but that's my only concern about this is that if it has no match and possibly it might take us a year or two to get this built. So because you have to have cash to spend.
Mhm.
You know, you do get the money back, but you do have to have the running cash flow, so. And a separate sort of caveat, I also think it's wonderful that we are doing recycling. And so it's just the timing. I have some concerns. Are there any other comments? No? Okay.
So, well, your concern is the upfront money, not the magnitude of the match itself.
I'm
both.
concerned that there be no match. So that I'm hoping for a zero match, like the park rec 600,000. That we do not have a match requirement.
Now, I thought I heard you said you were also concerned about
I'm
putting
also
money up front.
concerned about cash flow in general, if we can get some of this road work done next year at the very beginning of the year. You know, we're gonna be spending out cash for those projects and it's just paying attention to that. So. You know, but we do have, usually in most grants, how much time do we usually have to spend it? We have a couple of years.
24 months at minimum.
Okay, so and that helps. My concerns is that it can be delayed. The actual work doesn't have to happen the minute we get the grant.
Right.
If we're in the process of just bringing up.
But I was thinking the same thing, a match.
Yeah. Any other comments about this? Okay, then I'll take a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That also passed unanimously. Our next one is about the borough's municipal, the MMO as we call it, minimum municipal obligation for the pensions. Could I have a motion?
You make a motion to approve resolution R10 of 2025. Setting forth the borough's 2026 minimum municipal obligation pension payment. The police and general employee pension fund total of $408,204.
Okay, John made a motion to approve resolution R10 of 2025 with respect to the minimum municipal obligation pension payments. Is there a second?
Second.
Isaiah Wilson seconds. Would you like to, Mr. Fode, give a brief reminder about this? It's in our packet.
The state law requires the municipality to have a defined benefit plan, which these are for both the police and general employees. That by September 30th of every year, we do a couple things. First, we make this year's payment, but the money hasn't come in yet. But we also do for budgetary purposes know what that number is going into 2026. So that we can properly allocate budgeting funds in both the police budget and the street budget to pay for these obligations. $408,000 is a big number to look at. Let you know that last year's was only $1,600 less. So we're doing okay with pension incentive. Manning and Napier's due to come out and tell us how the plan's been doing. When I talk about state aid, we will get state aid in a calculation that's based on units. And each unit is used towards an employee, towards that payment that the state helps us pay that cost off. State law, this year's numbers are around $6,600 per unit. So a police officer by the state law is worth 2 units. So $12,000 times 7 or 8 is what that's going to go to state aid to help to pay towards that. $304,000. The rest will come out of general fund. And then same thing for the street department sewer plant. It's 1 unit, so $6,600 times 7 will go towards those individuals into the fund itself, not to a specific employee. Now, last month I gave you a chart in a work session, showed the history of both state aid and MMOs. We've updated, at least because we have these numbers now. What we don't know is the unit value. We just learned what the unit value was last week. So we'll update that chart, keep it going. All told, we'll probably start to put about at least $100,000 worth of funding from the borough's budgets into those MMOs to cover it. That's what happens. But that's with a healthy plan. Remember, we're in the 90th and 95th percentile of our funds, our pension plans being funded. So it would be worse if they weren't.
Yeah, I think the borough's always taken a lot of pride that we paid our MMOs. You have discretion on doing this, and sometimes boroughs, especially that are in a financial bind. This may be one way they save some money is they don't completely fund their, or we don't go for 100% funding, but they don't meet that MMO number, and the borough, to my knowledge, always has.
It has.
And
Yeah.
It's kind of a matter of pride that we put that as priority.
A lot of your Act 47 communities, that's where they run into the problems. Communities that can't make their pension payment. State aid is good, it's not enough. Like they'll use the state aid because they have to, but they will add to it. We'll be asked specifically, like, okay, if the answer is C and we gave you A, did you put in B? Yes, we did to make C work.
I mean, if you don't, you're not gonna be saving. Going in the red.
Exactly.
Well, you're possibly endangering people's pensions. If it would go down far enough.
Mhm.
But it's not savings like.
It's an immediate saving, but that doesn't stop the bleeding. You put a Band-Aid on the wound, but the wound is bleeding around the Band-Aid. It works. Okay, you didn't vote.
I know.
Okay, sure.
For
Come on, get it.
change, is there any other questions about that or comments? No? Okay, all those in favor? All those opposed? It also unanimous.
Council?
So now we're down to motion regarding the proposed ordinance 04 of 2025. Do I have a taker here?
I'll make a motion to authorize the borough manager to advertise proposed ordinance 04 of 2025. Amending the Borough Code Chapter 157, Article 6. Sewerage service charges and billing practices to increase the sewerage service charge schedule for rates at the October 21st, 2025 regular meeting.
So we have a motion to advertise the proposed ordinance. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Joan Arnold made the motion and Deb Orme seconds. And this was discussed last year, and we knew we were planning to do this. Last year we increased it by 3%. And this year again will be an increase of 3% to cover costs and expenses that we anticipate. So
It's regular inflationary rates. And just a reminder, we are independent of Alcosan, and Alcosan is guaranteeing a minimum of 7% increase every year for the foreseeable future. And residents who are within an Alcoasand customer service area, not only do they pay Alcoasand, they also pay a rate to that municipality or that authority that feeds into Alcoasand because they have their maintenance costs as well. So our costs are, our fees are solely for the borough of Oakmont and our operations as well as our capital improvements.
And our claim doesn't smell.
Yeah, that's key. It is key. It was strong yesterday.
Hey,
Okay. So we have this motion to advertise the proposed ordinance and all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That passes unanimously. Thank you.
Committee planning, nothing, planning commission, everything else that we talked about planning, we've already discussed with the park and stuff. Finance, first item is an action to approve the warrant list for the month of August.
Jacob's not here. Do we have another taker? Go ahead, Ozzy. I know you weren't here, but I could just see it.
Motion to approve the warrant list for October 2025 in the amount of $450,553.18.
Okay, I think you just made a misspeak that it's for the warrant list for August.
I'm sorry, for August, excuse me.
So we have a motion to approve the warrant list for August 2025. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Jen Paris seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? It's unanimously.
Thank you, Council. Council, next item is we want to close one of the bank accounts we used temporarily for the federal funding, the ARPA funding, and we've expended it all except for the balance you see left on the account and then the motion. We have moved that money over to capital reserve. We just need somebody to officially close out. We can do that.
it's $21.
It went to the capital reserve fund. It's unencumbered inside the capital reserve fund, would you believe?
Yep. Okay, could I have that motion, please?
I move to authorize the borough manager to close the Dollar Bank American Rescue Plan Act account and move its remaining balance of $21.52 to the Dollar Bank Capital Reserve Fund.
Deb Ormond has made a motion to close the Dollar Bank account. Is there a second?
I'll second.
John Arnold seconds. Any discussion? That is within the time limit that we had to spend all of our. Great. No further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That also passes unanimously.
Thank you. Under public safety, the mayor is not here this evening. She only gave me one thing to give to Chief Flanagan and Chief Ford. I did that. They do the Greek Church is going to do its second annual blessing of first responders, November 9th.
Yes, got the flyer credited.
It was my dad's wedding anniversary. That's why I remembered. I saw the date. So that was the only thing the mayor had to offer for this evening. It said the chief can handle everything else.
My normal, the report had submitted if anybody had any questions before you asked them. Two other quick things. I know school guards were on the agenda. Right now I'm currently full. If you know anybody that's looking for fill-ins, please come see me. The other part of this was, I believe it was brought up to the school board and to the borough before, but I'm a firm believer in it as well. It's possibly adding these holidays to show some goodwill. Some of these guards been here for 16 years. And they eat all the traffic complaints you get, they see it firsthand every day. They're out there in the rain, the cold. I think that's a good gesture. So my understanding is they pay 50% as well, so we would be offsetting with this and just off the top. If you did 4, I'd recommend 5 holidays, but you would be around $750 entity or more a year per person, per entity. So I think that, to me, that's a really good gesture. They don't get significant raises since I've been here, but that would just be a brought up earlier by Mr. Leisure and also he mentioned both school board. I didn't know if there's any action on it, but that'd be something I'd suggest them to maybe don't retain. Say, hey, this is pretty lucrative. I'm going to get another 150. It's not that much per year. Right now, if you look at it, it's $272. If you work full time, part time is $105. So for park guards, we will be prorated the amount of the hours they. So on the average.
We handle payroll a session. How long is this? And there's 2 sessions today. How long is a session technically?
trip.
Trip.
It's 45 minutes, 2 trips is a session, that's how we pay them. I
Oh,
believe it's 29.37 per session, so roughly $60. That's what they pay for coming out for those.
And then some of them, do some of them still work? I know it used to be at least that some of them did the morning trip at the high school. And then went on up the hill and did the morning trip for the grade school. We still have people doing that.
So some work full time, so they cover all the shifts, not full time hours,
Yeah.
full time guard shifts.
Can we work up the numbers so that we can have, I don't know if we need a resolution or ordinance or whatever, but so we can get that in the budget for next year?
Yeah, I don't know, I think we can just adjust it.
We do, we just
Like we
calculated
do
it.
other salaries, I
All
think.
these.
Yeah, I have mostly.
We'll talk, 'cause I'm assuming holiday would mean both the morning and afternoon session.
Session. Decide what you want to go for 5 bucks.
Okay.
Are people in favor of making that adjustment to the salaries? To pay for the holidays? Okay. Progress, like, yeah.
And the only other thing I have was, I usually say it for next month, but the nocturnes.
Not right now.
The attention truck to me was, it was one of the thank Officer Stockman, Sergeant Turpin. They are overwhelmed, of course, I didn't buy enough candy, I didn't buy enough anything, so which is a great thing because that means we had such a dirty community turnout. I don't know about the fire department, I was down, but they said the kids were everywhere and they had a huge crowd. So I want to thank them for their enthusiasm for all that. It worked out.
I wish we didn't even think of it when Joe was here.
Well, we go up the bread with candy. Yeah. Hey, cool stuff. We don't just go.
Yeah, that's
That-
true, they
that's-
just wanna see their truck.
That's all I have. If anybody
Okay,
has any questions, great answer.
thank you. Any questions for Mike?
Probably great answer. The heartbreaking, they're sporadic. We haven't had any in 3 weeks. Just a reminder, lock your car, take your valuables off. We wouldn't have any things. We haven't had one broken window. Everything's unlocked.
It's the deer.
Yeah, don't make it easy on.
It's-
I'm trying to come up with another squirrel meme.
So this has been very well rated.
And we did the other.
Yeah.
The only other thing I mentioned was yesterday, I was invited down to the RCAC and I did a talk on scams or things in today's news about people getting scammed, financial fraud, such personal safety. So it was very nice of them to invite me down, right there.
Parkview EMS report is in your packet for the month of August. They responded to 134 dispatches. 17 of them were fire calls. 78 of those calls required them to transport somebody to the hospital. They asked for help 11 times for mutual aid. 49 visits to the Presbyterian home, which was 37% of the calls again. So we're still on that par. Amazingly. So, okay. Under Public Works, there's a few action items for council to consider this evening.
Okay, this was, as you recall, we put out a bid for the Halton Road and Third Street intersection improvements. And the bid came back much higher than anticipated. And that's putting in the pork chop thing there. And some other adjustments. I'm not sure what they all are. So the street crossing sign. What else was in that?
Say that part again.
The flashing light that they
Oh,
push the button.
The pedestrian signs will be adjusted, yes, so it consolidates all the crossings to that one location. Immediately across from Speedway and Pump Bakery. So instead of the original design was this big block, now it's just one area.
Right.
And there's curb work.
Curb work, radius work, yes.
So the bid came in, and Sean recommends that we not take it and that we go back out for bid. And in all likelihood, that would mean, the bid would be for work done in 2026. And with the caveat that we would, requests that people do it very early in the year. I mean, it's unfortunate, this has been a long, long time to get here. But that is the motion. If someone would like to make a motion to reject the sole bid for the Halton Road, Third Street intersection improvements and authorize the borough manager to re-advertise. Is there?
So moved.
Thank you, Deb. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Amanda seconds. Is there any more discussion on this? Disappointing, but all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, moving on. We have a motion to award the 2025 sanitary sewer CCTV and cleaning project to Robinson Point Cleaning Company in the amount of $56,078.75, which includes base bid and alternates 1 and 3. Do I have a motion? John Arnold moved. And a second. Isaiah seconds. Are there any comments to?
Real brief, this is still gonna be covered by the grant funding we received from the state for sewer lining and camera work, CCTV work. What we do is we do camera work, simple camera work and some cleaning. We get videos, we create a project. That project actually is probably going out for bid from 2024 that was just finalized. Which again, we talk about that big line coming from the turnpike rest area. That's the 2024 project. This camera work is going to be in line for the 2026 sewer lining project. And these 4 areas that you see, obviously simple cleaning to push things around. Note if there's any collapses or failures need to be taken care of. The big chunk of this is the actual sanitary line that runs along Allegheny River Boulevard from Holton to College, because that helps with other discussions about the future of Allegheny River Boulevard. We know it's there. This project will probably be done in a matter of a couple of weeks. We get the bill and we can submit it to the state and get some reimbursement back from the grant funding for this part of it. I have, discussed this project in general with our state representative, who opined that the state is looking more towards infrastructure projects. So we're going to keep applying to do sewer line replacements and relining and stuff like that in the borough. Hopefully with success of some type of support, we're looking at these lines lasting another 50, 60 years perfectly well.
Any questions or any more comments on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That passes unanimously. Okay, we're down to our last thing, and this is with respect to the Oakmont treatment plant.
I'll make a motion to approve payment number 1 in the amount of $169,028.10. Lone Pine Construction for the Oakmont treatment plant upgrade project.
John Arnold made a motion to approve payment number 1 to Lone Pine Construction. Is there a second?
Second.
Jen Pears seconded. And Scott, could you give us just a little background on where we are at this point?
Earthwork has commenced on the sites. Obviously, we've met our neighbors. The sped building, which is next to the where the new decodification tank is going to go. There's been one kickoff meeting, of construction meeting. I think there's another one scheduled. They do them every week for the beginning. The contractor is sort of getting their things set up. They're focusing mostly on the clarifier, which is the large diameter pipe that's in the ground. Remember, they're ripping out two of the smaller ones and making 2 30-footers, making one large 60-footer, which is wider and deeper. Really nothing else exciting about it. They took the tree out in preparation for the work that's going to go around the existing building.
Like it's all line.
Yeah, well, that was on the property line. That was the hello.
We have all the easements and everything.
We're getting on the Stone line, yes.
We're getting?
Yes.
I thought we had.
For some reason, there was a glitch in the side easements coming back to us, but they're not arguing, not giving us the easements. But somehow there was a glitch in the passing the easements back to us, but they're being finalized. Which is okay, they're not raising us to think about it. Okay.
We
I realized I did that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was telling them that.
This tobacco.
You have a bunch of dad jokes.
Yeah. There are some distressed neighbors, partly because of this tree line that. Used to provide visual barrier with the sewer plant if you live near there. And also possibly some also of an odor that it used to be seemed to block it a little bit more than, but they had to come down in order, as I understand, in order to put in this clarifier. So that was done, and so that's, you can, if you're down on Pennsylvania and look back at the last building, you can see all the way. So,
Mr. Kowski did reach out to the trainer.
yes, she. So,
Yeah.
So it's what we have to do though. I mean, in order to complete this project, it's, you know, some of these things just gonna have to happen. So, then, how long will that take? Do you know?
The whole project,
This part.
27 months?
No, no,
Oh,
no.
sorry.
Sorry. This clarifier.
Oh, that part I have not yet. It's one big project, so they may pause and come back to it, pause and come back to it, yes.
Okay. All right, any discussion? All those approved?
Aye.
All those opposed? That passes unanimously. So, that completes our normal topics here.
Sorry, I'm just noticing we don't have an opportunity for Rocco to speak tonight.
I was put on vacation, my bad. Not my fault. Rocco.
Not to put you on the spot.
No, I can go, I mean, school's back, so, right now I'm really looking for just student interest, especially with who's gonna be the next youth representative once I'm done. So, last weekend I talked to 11th and 10th graders, you know, about the position. And there was actually a lot of interest with it, more than I had expected, so, I was wondering, when do applications come out?
We can decide that as part of the communication. and
Okay,
outreach.
yeah, we can work on that. Just because I think we're gonna have a lot more than last year, so it might be the smart idea to send out applications a little earlier. Yeah. That's basically it though for now.
Did you have a final amount for your not fundraising, but like item raising?
Oh, donations wise. Within the fundraiser, we had enough donations to provide, I think the number was 960 meals.
Wow.
And yeah, and then we had some other donations before, so I think we were hovering around 1,000 meals provided for like August. And then we raised around 1,500, I think, from the month of August. So yeah, it's really good, yeah. And I'll be continuing with that too, so hopefully there's more.
Right.
Thank you.
Rocco, the month of April, still going. The month of April typically recognized in Pennsylvania, there's called Local Governments Week. And most municipalities in the Commonwealth reach out to their schools to do some Q&A's, education systems, because the social studies class, they may teach everything about the three branches of the federal government and maybe talk about the governor, but they don't talk about the 2,600 municipalities in Pennsylvania. I'm gonna talk to you for like due dates until April. When it comes to my ideas, we do something with the school.
Yeah,
Be a presentation, be hand me different facets, because the government is just not the 7 council members, it's essentially a business of 7 or 8 different operations. I want to just show that there's more than just what you see here.
yeah, just looking at things.
Going to that.
Yes, maybe the website there for you.
Come on over to my school.
Ready to think about that.
Yeah, it's a session way.
You got time, man. Well, council meeting. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, anything else for, the only other thing I was just, Isaiah, have you had any luck or any chance to, on the, emergency management?
Yeah, so getting everyone into the room at one point is hard, so I'm gonna go through department by department. See how, they were affected, things impacted, so by the time we can have a sewer plan, then get that, they had for some generators out to Washington, the pumps, that might down. Also, getting up, starts with the civil understanding.
Anybody else want anything written down here for next meeting?
Oh, should I give me her stuff?
Yeah.
We'll be buzzing about it.
Yeah.
Between the sewer and then we'll clock our way down. Okay, all right, enough of that. All right, so, we will take comments from the public.
I do.
Oh, okay, that was very interesting.
Charles Fox, first 16 male. Month. I was just wondering if there's any current litigation going on with the borough. I mean,
There is.
I mean, currently what's been settled and what's been dismissed and.
So there's a couple active legal actions involving the borough of Oakmont, one of which was a substantive validity challenge to ordinance number 01-2025. That's the new parking ordinance, so to speak. With respect to that, there is a the zoning hearing board is convening on Monday, the 22nd, to issue their decision. So I will be attending on behalf of the borough. I've confirmed with the zoning hearing board solicitor that there will be no evidence or testimony for oral arguments made, simply for the zoning hearing board to reconvene to close out the hearing by holding a vote. It has to be done or on the record, so it has to be done in person. And then there also is still pending a challenge to Local Remedy Brewing's conditional use approval that is currently on appeal before the Commonwealth Court. Oral arguments have not yet been scheduled, so I don't believe so. I'll double check.
You're wrong. No, I'm sorry. Each.
So it is.
Too much of the world.
So essentially, we're just waiting for the court to schedule oral argument. And then hopefully issue a decision on that. I believe that's the extent of the pending lawsuits involving
Good, you said it's 10 minutes.
the borough. There's a couple slip and falls out there as well.
Yeah. Is there on the website in the last year's out there, I didn't look at it, but is there a amount of legal fees that the borough spent?
It's in the budget, we don't publish everything on the website, that's just our legal fees, I mean, I will maybe write the number, because I just don't know the number off by heart right now, if you want to call, I can tell you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. No, that heads-up truck was fun for my kids.
I know.
Like the can. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Ross. We're being nothing further. The motion to adjourn,
So
Isaiah has moved, is there a second?
I was second.
And Paris seconds with glee.
Yes.
All those in favor,
Aye.
all those opposed, John's